There's something I was thinking about. I'm trying to piece it back together. Because I was thinking about, like, okay, so say you got Portland, and I was like, okay, so you got these. I was thinking, okay, that's what it was. The way you think about second and third tier effects. So, with not even so much the rioting, which it was a phenomena that I think a lot of people, there's this really weird thing going on and has been going on in the media generally, that as if like trying to make people think like, oh, well, it wasn't, it wasn't that widespread. It was in one specific area. People don't think much of it. And that's not true. All over the country, it's sort of, most of America is like, what, like, this is bananas. It's a phenomena they're associating with with that city. And it's just, no. People, Portland now means a different word in a sense. So I started thinking about, okay, you keep seeing these various large companies now, like, okay, there's no businesses or tenants for me to put into the buildings, so people don't want to be in the buildings, so I've got to sell the building, or I have to give the building back to the lender. So more and more you will then have these financial institutions that'll have that it'll be back on that they'll have this asset, but they'll also have the problem of, and this was this big loss you just took on all this potential rents. The cities are not going to stop levying fees and taxes on whom is able to pay them. Because of the way that the homeless situation has been handled, it looks like there's going to be more and more demand constantly on services, because they won't really do what it takes to stop such demand from increasing. There is now what looks like a very permanent inability to fight violent crime in most of these enclaves as well. So, that now violent crime has become rather endemic to them. And that recent meeting in Oakland really showed how people, when they started showing the kind of residents that they were showing, and then see people who aren't from there, you weren't hearing the names of the neighborhoods people were talking about, because these are the neighborhoods that, there is not this super distinct, this neighborhood is this group and this class. That's the issue with Oakland and Berkeley and Emeryville, is it had this fascinating way that various sections of it very naturally flow from one to the other, but they're obviously different neighborhoods. And so these are places that are just pretty much family and residential, a lot of old owners, as you saw, if you were watching that video, meeting with the DA of Oakland. So you then have all these basically financial interests and investors that are going to have more and more of a problem going to some kind of source of cash and saying, I've got this great idea. We're going to rent this, we're going to get this building in Oakland, California. And it's the new hot spot. There's going to be all these people, yada, yada, yada. So one of the things about it is nobody's going to be like, oh, well, what about Antifa? That's not what they're going to do. It's the damage has already happened. And so it's going to be, oh, okay, so what companies are you going to, have fill this building in? What are they going to do? Because it's going to require people who have to be physically there. Because now, and with the growing world of satellite internet services, there's an entire class of people that working from home is the advertisement for the job. Like that's one of the perks now. And where at another time it would be that like the lavish office space in the video game era of California. Unbelievable office spaces and stuff. But now you can work from home. That's the perk. That's permanent. That's not going away. And it's a skilled class that can do that. They can demand that because of the people who are of an older group. I mean, like me, I know where I fall in the order of things. But there's now this you have like all these people who are going to really simply not be able to deal with the type of technologies and just newfangled things that are like nobody's going to be able to learn to code, so to speak, with like the next level of stuff up. Be able to use it creatively, but not really. That's for young people. That's a young person's game. That's that's at 30s and 40s, top of the skills, and you don't have to sleep, and stuff like that. Those people love the fast-paced life that you often have in some kind of city like Portland, San Francisco, that there's a place that's open all night. You could get a bite to eat real late. There's life of all sorts, and that it's interesting, it's novel, it's happening. And now, Antifa and BLM have created a digital culture that are these faraway artisans of the future of sorts, that there's no way back. You can't get them back into town. They have absolutely, there's nothing they really gain by coming back into town. Just to get some things now could be delivered. So I've just been rolling this around. These cities are in a lot of trouble. These cities are in a lot of trouble because they have their own debts they have to pay all the time. A lot of, the land itself has to be absolutely maintained, and that requires these owners to pay toward that. But, all right, wait.